Hi Lisa, this is going to be the tutorial on your website on how to do a few things. I'm going to be running through the following things on this tutorial. To start with, I'm going to show you how to update plugins, then create a backup of your website. I'm going to go through the theme settings. As you know, we're using a WordPress theme, and this is quite a powerful theme. It's called Avada, and there's loads and loads of features that you can use. I'm not going to go through them all, but I'll just take you through where to find them. I'm going to look at adding descriptions for a project, how to add and edit a new project. We're going to look at spacing between images, how to optimize and add new images to the site at the right size. We're going to look at formatting text. We're going to look at editing content on your pages, including the footer and the menus. We're going to also look at that's it. Okay, cool. So let's start with the first one of the most important things that you're going to do on your website. It's going to be backing your website up. So as you can see here, we haven't backed up for a while, and there's been 52 changes made to the website since the last backup. So I think that's leaving it a bit long. I think, every few times you make changes, I would back up. That's what I do with my website. So also with WordPress, we're using quite a few plugins in our website, and with WordPress, they're constantly updating these plugins. And what you'll do is when there's a plugin update is required, you'll get a little notification here, and it will say 1 or 2 or 3, which means there's 3 plugins that need updating. But before we ever update a plugin, always, unless you've already got a backup, I would say make a backup first. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to go to backup buddy, then backup, and I'm going to show you how to create your first backup. So there is a way to do this automatically. You can set up scheduled backups so that you don't have to constantly do it yourself. Just Google Backup Buddy for more information on how to schedule, but you can also just explore the settings here. You add your email and if you've got a Dropbox account, you can automatically schedule backups to send to your Dropbox account. All the settings are in here, but we're just going to go straight to backup, and we're just going to go complete backup. So with WordPress, websites are so popular that they're also a target for hacking these days, and I've put a lot of security measures in place for your website. However, nothing is not hackable. I mean, they're quite advanced hackers these days. So yeah, we've done it as much as we can, but this is just in case you also make some changes to your website and you can't seem to go back to how it was. This is a good way to make sure that you've got a backup of your website working the way you wanted it to. So it's just going through the process here. I've also found that sometimes updating a plugin or updating WordPress, it's very rare, but it does affect the website from time to time. So this is also, once again, just a way to make sure you don't lose the look and feel of your website. But yeah, in those cases where a plugin update affects your website, just give me a call. Usually all you have to do is disable that plugin until they re-update the plugin. So yeah, but it's nothing to worry about. It's very rare that it happens. And so all the steps are completed, and now we can download the backup file to our computer. Or you can send to an offsite destination, for example, Dropbox or Google Drive potentially. I'm not entirely sure, but I always just download a backup to my computer and then store it away on a hard drive. And it's not necessary to store all your backups. I think to store your latest one, assuming that you're happy with it. So I'm going to click download. and you can see here it's going to start downloading the whole website. And I'm just going to pause the video while that downloads in the background. And if for some reason you ever do find that you need to restore an old version of your site, you're going to have to contact me, and I'm going to have to, and then you'll just give me the latest. You'll send me the Dropbox link to you'll basically give me the most recent backup you made, and then I'll restore the website as it was when it was working really well. But that will be an extra service that I'll have to offer. Okay, so the backup's downloaded, and it's just downloaded to my downloads folder. Okay, now after you do a backup, then, or assuming you've already done a backup and you log in and you see that plugins need to be updated, you just go to the plugins page, and the ones that need to be updated will have an orange. They'll be in orange basically instead of blue. So then you'll just click the orange ones, and then you'll select the drop down, click update, and then apply, and they'll update automatically. So just once they're up, when the process of updating starts, just let the process take its do its thing, and then don't actually navigate away from the page while they're updating, because you could run into problems that way. So it might take maybe, 10 to 20 seconds depending on your internet connection. Okay, the next thing we want to do is we're going to show you how to create a new a new portfolio item, or edit an existing one. So to add a new one, you just click add new. There's also portfolio categories, which I might start there actually and just show you that, well, we've only got 2 portfolio categories. We've got wedding photography and feature. The feature column, any new portfolio post that you tag with a feature category is going to appear on the home page of the website. So I would say to you, rather leave until you have really good new portfolio work and projects. Just leave, don't tag new portfolio posts with feature, because it's going to affect how the homepage looks in terms of that composition of the 5 images. But everything else needs to be tagged as wedding photography. You can always remove these or change these here. Just click edit or delete. And you can also add a new one. You just add the name here, slug, but there's an easier way to add portfolio categories, and I'll show you how to do that now. We'll click on add new portfolio post, and so the title of the wedding might be Mike and Carol, and then this section here is going to be where you start putting all the images and also a project description if you like. For example, you might want to put the venue, you might want to put the equipment, photography equipment used. You might want to specify what package this particular couple chose to go with. So on the right here, it's important to note, this section here is publish. You don't have to publish it without actually saving it. You can actually save it as a draft and then publish at a later date when you're finished. You can also delete a post by going into move to trash, and it will move it to your trash. So I'll show you what the other portfolio items look like if you just click on portfolio. So here are our 6 posts. You can see Mike and Carol is the one I'm working on now. And you can, from here, you can go and edit any of these items. Or if you just want to do a quick edit, like changing the name or the title or the date, you can just do a quick edit. You can also, from a quick edit, you can change the order. You can change the tags. You can change the status from published to draft. You can add skills or remove skills. And you can change the slug. The slug is It's basically the URL. So the slug is basically what's going to appear here after your main URL. So for this one, it should be lisatrockyweddings.co.za /portfolio items / Giselle and Serge. So that there is the slug. Okay, so you can always change that, but it must be all lowercase and there can't be any spaces, and you can't have any fancy symbols like the ampersand or the hashtag or anything like that. So let's go back to our new post, our new portfolio post. More cases than not, I would assume you're going to go with a standard post, but you're more than welcome to try and see what any of these other post types looks like. You know, you might want to add a quote to your website, or you might want to add just one special image or a gallery post. But for now, we're just going to go with the standard ones. As I was talking about earlier, we're only going to tag this as wedding photography. We don't want to add it into if we add the feature category, it's going to add it to the home page, which means if we go to our home page, basically this composition of images here is going to be changed, and you might not get the result you like. You might then have to play around with all the portfolio images. So as you can see here, these are all links to your projects, and the image that it's grabbing automatically, if I go back to our post, is the featured image. If we scroll down, it's the featured image. So whatever I put here, setting as the feature image, it's going to pull into this section. It's also going to pull into this section here. Automatically, it's going to show you the featured image that you use here. So anyway, let's go back to this sidebar here. Skills. You can add skills if you like, but we're not actually showing them in our posts anymore because we removed that. Now we're just adding a standard sidebar. So you don't have to worry about that too much. Tags, we also removed that from our sidebar, so you don't have to worry about that. But it's like hashtags. You know, you might say hashtag wedding and then comma. Sorry, you don't have to add the hashtags. Just say wedding, comma, photography, comma, love is in the air, comma. You know, you can add all silly tags or funky tags. It's up to you. Order. This has got to do with it's actually all it does, the order, is change the order as they appear on this portfolio page. So if you order it 1, it'll come up at the top. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But it's not really that important. Okay, so I'm going to start with the featured image. So for now, I'm just going to upload a new file. I'm just going to use this image here. I'm not going to publish this, so it's okay, it won't appear on the website. And then you're going to set that as a featured image. Change the title. Always when you're adding imagery to your website, it's good for SEO if you are very clear and careful about what you title images. So I'm going to title this Daniel Skafturos logo. And then also copy and paste that into the alt text. But you might even change it. You might say instead, the alt text is basically if for some reason or the other the image doesn't show, then alt text will show in its place. You know, I'll say alt text web designer. Okay, and then I'll click set. And there's the featured image. So now I'm going to go back up to the top and change this to, and add some content here. What this means here is if you want to have a more dynamic layout, for example, this homepage is a dynamic layout. We've got, you know, big sections. We've got this feature image section. We've We've got some columns here. We've got a carousel here. If you want to add this, you're going to have to change from this default content section to Fusion Page Builder. But I'm going to go into that a little bit more on some of when we're making updates to some of the sub pages. For example, the About page. For now, I'm just going to add some content. So let me just add some images here. Let me just add 2 images, okay, and insert them into the post. Okay, and I want to add some text at the top, so I'm going to do that. So I'm just going to click here. Okay, and then you can add some text on the top if you want. Okay, perfect. And then what you do is you could click save and then preview the page. But I think I have to save it before I preview it, otherwise it's not going to show anything. Okay. So now that I've saved the draft, I can preview it. It should show me exactly what it's going to look like on the live site. Okay. So as you can see here, it's not looking quite as nice as we want. We've got project details here, which you don't want in most of your portfolio projects. I can see here there's like this big space that doesn't need to be there, so I'm just going to remove that spacing and click save. And I think I want this to be a heading, so I'm just going to highlight the text and change it from paragraph to heading 2. I'm also going to, if we go to our post, we can see here we've got the wrong sidebar. We want to rather add the sidebar that we've created. So I think it's a default sidebar, and position, we want it to be on the right. So then we'll save that and go back to our preview and refresh the preview. Okay, but it's still showing project details. So it has added our nice heading here, and it has added our sidebar. But unfortunately, it's still showing this project details section. So to remove that, we're going to go to this portfolio section and say no on project details. And then click save. Well, the other thing we want to do is, you can see here it's really tight between this word and the bottom of the page. So you can go to this section here, Fusion Page Options, and go to the page and add 50 pixels of space at the bottom of the page. Page content bottom padding. So if I click save, it should remove this section here, and it should also add some padding at the bottom here, which is going to make the post look a lot better. So if I refresh the page, there we go. Now it's looking exactly like our other portfolio projects. And I'm going to show you how to add. Okay, so now I'm going to go to one of our other posts, this one, and show you how to optimize images in the right the right size basically. I'm going to show you how to edit this post because I've created this post, but I haven't done any editing and I haven't added the correct content. So for now, I'm going to delete this post. So I can either delete it by clicking move to trash, or I can close it off and I can I can either click the tick button here and click move to trash, or I can just hover over this and click trash. Now it's not going to delete the project, it's going to move it to your trash, which you can see here. So if you ever need to get it back, just click on trash and then click restore. But we don't need to, so I'm going to just click delete permanently. Okay, and now I'm going to go back to all my portfolio projects, and I'm going to go to Shay and Grant because that's the one we want to start editing. Okay, so just like before, we want to remove this sidebar with project details and replace it with the default sidebar. So we're going to change this to no, and then we're going to go to page, add 50 pixels at the bottom. Then we're going to go to sidebars and add the default sidebar to the right. And click update. Refresh the page. And there's our sidebar. And we've also got a bit of padding at the bottom of the page now. So now that that's all ready, we can start adding the content, the images. So we can just go here into our content area and add media. So I'm going to open up Photoshop and show you how to save an image and optimize an image for a website. Okay, there's a few things to consider. Firstly, we need to know exactly what size to create this image. So if I go to one of my other ones, I'll just show you how to check out how big a space we're working with. So if you're using Google Chrome, what you do is you right click and then click inspect element, and that's going to bring up this code window. And I know it looks kind of scary, but all you have to do is scroll down to the bottom here on the right, and you can see that it's 749 pixels wide and 556 pixels high, this particular image. However, our image, I've saved it a bit bigger than that. I've saved it as 850 pixels wide, just in case for some reason the space is bigger. Okay, so I'm going to go back to our Photoshop image. Okay, so this you can see is quite a large image. If I go to the image size, it's 300 dpi, and it's, in terms of pixels, it's 3,600 pixels. So it's completely unnecessary to load an image to the website that big. So all we have to do is click File, Export, Save for Web. Or if you're using a Windows computer, you click down Control Shift Alt S. Or if you're using an Apple, it's Command Shift Alt S. So as you can see, it's still a really large image. All we have to do is change it to 850 pixels, and that will shrink down our image to the size we want it. And then the most important thing to do when you're saving images for web is look at this quality bar. The more quality you have on the image, the sharper and clearer the image is going to be. But if you look down here, you can see that the image size is 362 kilobytes. If I go down to, so let's say quality 20, it's now only 40 kilobytes, but you can see the reduction in image quality is quite severe. So for me, I would say an image of this size, a good file size for the image would be between 100 and maybe 130, but let's see. My default quality for images is 70. Usually 70 is a good in between. But you, as a photographer, might decide, no, I'd rather make my website users or audience just wait a little bit longer to load the images. But at least they'll get clearer, crisper images. Or you might decide that you want to save them data and time, and rather just sacrifice a tiny bit of quality and rather get them to load the pages quicker. And that's how I work. I'd rather just sacrifice a tiny bit of quality in terms of the image and let it load faster. It's also better for SEO, and also going to save people data fees. So for me, this image is quite good, even at 70. But you might like to say 75 is going to work better, or even 85. So for me, it's not making much difference. So what happens if I go to 65? It's still quite good, and the image size is getting down to 113. But let's make it 70. I think 70 is probably the best in-between point. And then you click save, and you save it to wherever you need to save it to. So I'm going to save it in this folder. Okay, and then I'm going to close this file. So I haven't actually edited the file. I've saved a new file. So now I'm going to go back to my portfolio post and click add media. Click upload, and then I'm going to go to the image, find the image that I saved, and where is it? There it is. Okay, so that's uploading. It's really important when you're adding new images to, let's just delete this one, to fix up the title. So let's say Shay and Grant, remove the spacing, wedding, and then say bridesmaids photo or shot. Let's say bridesmaid shot. Once again, we just want to add this to the alt text. And if I scroll down, you can look at these attachment display settings. We don't want it to be aligned to the left, center, or right, so we're just going to say none. We don't want it to link to anything, so usually we'll say none. However, in this case, I'm going to show you what happens if you don't change this setting. Full size, I always say full size, and then insert into post. And I'm also going to add a few more images from this wedding. So I believe this one is from that wedding. This one. So you can just hold down the shift key or the control key to select or deselect images. And there's another one. Then there's that one. And that one. And I believe that's it. Okay. And then click insert. And if you just wait a moment, you'll see that all those images are going to insert into the page. Okay, perfect. So now I'm just going to click update and see how this post is now looking. Refresh the page. So here's our page. All the image spacing is looking really good, but let's just say you're not happy with the order of these images. What you can do is go back to a post and literally drag and drop. Another thing I want to show you is, remember how we left this image as we didn't change it to no link. Now if I click on the image, it takes us to the image page, and I think that's really bad practice for website design, because it adds no value to the user. In fact, it's distracting and it takes you away from the page really unnecessarily. And you can see all of our images have the same effect. So what I want to do is I want to click on every single image and remove the link. And so you just click on it and you can click on this remove link button. Okay, so now if I save this, go back to our live page and click refresh. Now you can see when I click on the image, it's not linking to anything, which is far better practice in my opinion. Okay, now let's just say we want to change the order of these images. All we have to do is go back to our portfolio post editing area, and we can drag and drop. So this is probably my favorite image, so I'm just going to drag it. It's a bit fiddly on where to hold the image to get it dragging, but anyway. And then I'm just going to move it right here to the top before this first image. I want to make this image last. I think it's one of the most least important images in the context of this wedding. So just drag and drop. Really like this image, so I'm going to actually move this up. And I'm going to move it, actually I'm going to move this one to the top. So I'm going to find the cursors here, and I want to move this image below this one here. So I think we're getting a better story now with this imagery. Okay, so if I click update, I think what we're going to find is, now that we've moved images around, that spacing is going to be an issue now. You know, you mentioned in your email that there was odd spacing after the images. So if I refresh this page, I think it's going to do the same thing. We're going to get bigger gaps between images. Okay, so there we go. There's a big gap here. There's a big gap here. And there's an easy way to fix that. Just find the image, which is here, and just highlight. There's just one single space here between this image and the next image. Just highlight it, press backspace. And there's also one, if I remember, after this image here. So I'll just, once again, highlight the text, the little spaces between the images, press backspace. I'll click it twice, and then if I click update, that so if I update and then refresh the page, that should have fixed the spacing between these images. There we go. So you can see it's fixed all the spacing here. Okay, so I'm just going to do one more thing on this post, actually two more things. First, I want to show you the featured image. So as you can see here, this featured image is showing up on the home page. If you wanted to, and it's also showing up as the thumbnail. So here it is on the home page. That's how it looks. On the portfolio page, it's showing up like this. If I go to one of the other posts, it's going to show up here as well, Shane Grant. So to add a featured image, you'll just click Set Feature Image. I don't know why there are 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. I'm not sure what the use of that is, but you're more than welcome to test it if you like, when you have some time. And the last thing I want to show you is, let's just say you want to add like an image, some text, some description here on top of the post, or on top of the first image. What you'll do is you'll click right on the left of that first image, press enter, then press using the up arrow, just navigate to this section here, and then write some text. Let's just say venue. Let's say you can do a soft return. How to do a soft return instead of giving that big gap between two things. You can do so that you can see there's a big space between those two headings. You can do a soft return by holding down shift and pressing enter. So you can say camera, you might want to say wedding package, or let's just say package, and let's just say that was gold. Venue, let's just say Crawford Wedding Center. Camera, Nikon 2100. So I don't like this gap between the two things, so I'm just going to press backspace, then do a soft return. Now to bold this text, just select it and click the bold button. And let's just say I want to link this text to my package, to the packages page. I'm just going to highlight the text, click on insert edit link, and I can either just add a URL here, or I can, if it's a link to another page on my website, I just click this drop down arrow and I click on packages. And I don't want this page to open up in a new window, which will actually open up a new tab, the link in a new tab. So if your link is linking somewhere offsite, like to another person's website, usually you will click open link in a new tab, but not in this case. And maybe I also want a heading. So I'm just going to add some more space here and say wedding details. So I'll just select the text and change this from to a heading 3. And I also want it to be italic. And I can also add a little horizontal line. So there's two ways you can do it. You can add a full length horizontal line, or you can add a special horizontal line shortcode that this Avada theme offers. So I'm going to click on, just got to find it. Separator, okay, it's called a separator. And then it's going to give me the options for this separator. So I want it to have a single border line. I want it to have 20 pixels top and bottom padding, but you can change it to none. And the separator color, I want it to be the brown color that we've been using on the rest of the site. So to figure out what that brown color is, right click on an area where it's got using the brown color and click inspect element, and then find that color. So there's the hex code. So copy that, and I'm going to go back here, and the size of the border, I want it to be 1 pixel, or you can just leave blank and use the default. And there's a few other options here. So I want it to be only 20% of the column width. And I want it to align left. And then I'm going to click save or insert shortcode, and you can see here's a shortcode. You can change the column width from here. You can change the color from here. You can change the border the color of the size of, or the width of the separator. And let's just click update. And let's see how that looks on our page. Okay, so that's how it's looking. Let's just say you wanted to have it more of a column layout. What you're going to have to do is, there's two ways to do it. But the other thing is, I notice here is maybe we need to remove the pixels from the top and just remove that to top margin 0. And if I click update, and now that spacing is looking much nicer, much neater. Let's just say you want to have rather this text over here on the right hand side of this heading, wedding details. What you're going to have to do is, well, firstly we'll remove this separator, and then what we're going to have to do is add column shortcodes. Well, there's two ways we can do it. We can actually switch to Fusion Page Builder. That should be interesting to see what happens if we click that. Okay. And now we've got like a more advanced builder. And we can see here it's just using one column. But for now, I just want to use the default. I'm going to change that back to heading 3. And to just scroll down, now it's just remove this code that unfortunately was added automatically. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a column shortcode here. So click on the Avada icon, click on columns, and then you're going to choose what kind of columns we want to use. We want 2 columns, so we're going to start with 1/3. Actually, let's just go half-half for this one. 1/2. It's going to be the first column, and leave all the rest as is. And we're going to add another column and make it 1/2 and make it the last column. Okay, and then click Save, insert shortcode. So I'm just gonna, so this is the shortcode it added. It's added it as a heading 3. So we just want it to be pre-formatted, or you can even say paragraph is fine. And also I'm just gonna click the rubber tool to clear any other formatting. So what we're gonna have to do now is, you can see here, there's the first, okay, so here are the 2 columns. This is a left-hand column, this is a right-hand column. To add the content that we want inside those columns, just click enter, or click enter again, and add this heading. And now we're going to do the same thing with this secondary column. Here's the opening tag, and here's the closing tag. You know it's closing because it's got a / there. Okay, so I'm going to add this text here. Click update and see how that looks. We may have to do a little bit of editing here. Okay, so let's refresh the page and see how that's looking. Okay, so that's perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. You know, wedding details, we've got 2 columns here, and let's just show you what it's going to look like in responsive view. So now it's not side by side. It's actually moved the 2 columns underneath each other, which is actually ideal. It's what we want. But as we extend the width of the page, now this has moved back up next to this. So that's just really neat kind of design work. So for now, I'd rather just remove all of this and keep it simple as we have done with the other posts. Click update. And yeah, that's how you add a portfolio page. So this is what our page is going to look like in the end. Okay, perfect. So the last couple of things I want to show you are the theme settings. So let's go into theme settings. You can go to either your dashboard, Avada themes options, or also I believe it's also in appearance, theme options, or you can even just click up here. There's 3 ways to get to the same section. Or if you're on a live post or live page, you can also click here and go to theme options. Okay, so here are your theme options. I wouldn't do too much messing around here, but it's just at least you know that it's here. And you can change the default settings for the whole site. General settings, site width, header, sticky header, logo. There's so many options here. So you're more than welcome to explore these. Like I said, the theme that we're using is Avada. So if you need support, just go into online documentation, or you could just go to YouTube and type in, how to change the footer on the Avada theme. But yeah, there's lots of options here. Like, it shows you everything. Okay, so I'll leave that with you to check out. Another thing I want to show you is how to edit the footer. You just go here and you can add widgets to the website, or you can just leave it as is. At the moment we don't have any widgets at the bottom of the website. We just have the copyright information and the social links. But you can add, like a lot of websites have columns at the bottom of the page that have contact details and that kind of thing. But this website we don't. Let's go to the menu. Okay, let's just say you want to add a page. Let's say you want to add a page under biography, or you want to add a new page. Go to appearance, menus, and then once you've created a new page, it's going to show up here, and you click view all, and then what you do is you click select the page you want to add, and then click add to menu. So let's add my work, and then drag it. If you want it to appear as a drop down underneath the page, drag it there. If you want it to be its own page, just move it under the page under the page that you want it to appear next to. And to delete, just click the drop down and click remove. You can also add a portfolio. You can add a custom link to your menu. You just add the link here and name it. You can also add a portfolio category if you like, but I don't think you're going to have to worry about that. Okay, the last thing we're going to look at is how to edit the pages on your website. So we've got 2 pages that you might think about changing the reviews page, adding a new review, or let's just say, I know you want to change a biography, so let's just go to biography and click edit page. I'm also going to show you how to do edit the home page, because the home page is a more dynamic layout, and we're using the Fusion page builder for this, which is a bit more complex. But once you get the hang of it, it's quite easy. So you can go to pages. There's 2 ways to access a page that we want to edit. We can either go to the page once we're logged into WordPress, go to the page and then click edit page up here, or we can go to our dashboard and click on pages and then click edit on the page we want to edit. So let's edit the home page. And let's just say we want to change this heading. We can see here. Well, actually, I can't see it here. Because if I scroll down a bit, in the slider section, we're using a Fusion slider, and it's appearing below the header. So for the actual this heading section here, you want to go to Fusion slider and then click Add or Edit, add a new slide or edit slides. So I'm just going to open that in a new window and quickly show you how to change the heading there. Click on Edit because that's the slide we have, and then change the text. You can change the image by clicking Remove Image here and then adding a new one. If you want to see how big this image needs to be, click on Inspect Element and then scroll down. So actually, in this instance, you want to click here and find the actual image. Okay, there's the image that we're using. Okay. Rather just go to click on this image and it's going to give you the image size. There it is. It's 1600 pixels wide by 900 high. So you can change, in this section, you can change the heading font size, you can change the color, you can change the background, you can add like a black colored background to it. And then down here is the subheading, which we've got here. And then you can also change the font size and the color. You can also make the slide, this whole slide, link to another page on your website if you want. Or you can add a button, and here are the button options basically. You can even add a secondary button if you like. So let's go, we don't want to change that for now, so let's just remove that. We'll close that off. Let's just say we want to change any of this text. We're going to go to our page, and you can see here is our page. It's broken down into sections. Here's a section. So you can see here it's a full width container because we've got a full width area here. And inside this full width container, we've got another container, which is this text. And all I have to do is click on this little paintbrush icon if I want to edit the text. And then I'll just change, change the text I want to. And then here we've got, if we go to our home page, we've got a separator. So remember to add a separator, you click on this shortcode icon and then select the shortcode you want to add. Could be a button, could be anything. There's lots of options. Underneath that, we've got two containers here. We've got an image container, and it looks empty, but actually if we click on edit, you can see that we've got a background image. Okay, so if you want to change that image, you just go into that section there. Here we've got 4 different elements within this section. And the way to add an element is you click on Builder Elements, and then, like, let's say you want to add a button, you just click and drag into the section you want to add it into. So let's say you want to add a button over that image, then it's going to add a button over here. But we don't want to do that, so I'm just going to remove it. And this section here, it's not very, here is it's called a recent work widget. You can edit it. You just click at the edit button, and then you play around with these options here. And okay, and that's basically it for the home page. Let's just say you want to change these options here. Let's go down to where we've got our wedding photography packages, and click on the edit icon. Let's just open this up, and you can see here it's really easy to change text. And let's use, if you want to see what type of, because you can see it's a really interesting subheading here. If you want to see what type of heading it's using, just select the text, and then you can see here that it's using a heading 6, but you can always change these headings. And here's using a heading 2, and this is just basic paragraph text. And add a client image here, or testimonial. Once again, I'm just going to scroll down, And here are the testimonials that we add. So we've got currently 1, 2. If you want to add a new one, you click add new and you just add the information as necessary. Okay, so that's the home page. Lastly, I'm going to go into the biography page. So if we want to add and remove things from here, we'll just click on the edit icon or link, and here once again, here's all our content. As I said before, if you want to make this a more dynamic page, and for example you might want to remove this sidebar and make it a really dynamic layout, all you'll have to do is click on Fusion Page Builder and then add sections and add modules in those sections. Once again, if you need help creating those dynamic layouts, you can go to support, and there's going to be lots of documentation on how to create these types of layouts. For example, let's go to Builder and how to use Builder. Okay, so there's quite a lot of information here, but it's quite in-depth. Okay, but for now, let's just say we want to do some simple things, simple edits to this page. You know, you can remove this image, click X, you can align it right, or you can also align it right by clicking on the image, clicking the edit button, and you can also change it here. You can change it to a full-size avatar. You can remove the link. I think at the moment, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, it's linking. So we want to remove the link, for example. So I'll click on the image and then click remove link. And we've got some horizontal rulers there, which is to add one, you just click this horizontal line. And there's lots of options here you can play around with. But let's just say you want to remove funny code that's somehow injected into the page. Highlight the code that you want to just clean up and just click the clear formatting. And as you can see now, it's removed all the bolds and the headings. So this is a heading 5. But if I highlight the text and click the button, the clear formatting, still a heading 5, but now it's no longer italic. So yeah, you just, select the things you want to remove and click update, and that's all there is. So that's it for the tutorial. Thanks for your patience, and best of luck with playing around with your website. Yeah, and I just wish you all the best of luck, and I guess the next step is that we're going to, after a few months, we'll look at maybe coming up with an SEO strategy and trying to get as many people to the website as possible. Thanks for watching, Lisa. Take care. Bye.